welcome back for another video. I'm Jess and I'm one of the creative designers here at Sizzix. Today I want to get you ready for Valentine's Day. It is just around the corner, and whether you celebrate it or not, whether you have a partner or you just want to gift a lovely Valentine's Day card to a special friend, I have the perfect Valentine's Day card for you. It's really simple to make but really effective with the aperture of the heart in there and then some of the sequins around the edge, and it's really nice to customize and personalize a handmade Valentine's Day card. I think it's really special and really thoughtful, and obviously you can have a lot of fun piecing it together and using things like our pattern paper, which is around the edge and along here. We've got some of our rose gold opulent, our sequins like I said, and I think even a beginner could do this one. It's really nice and simple but really effective, like I said, with those stunning red and pink shades, and this is using the Lovebirds die from Chapter 4 2021, so you might already have this one in your collection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my overhead camera so you guys can see a little bit more in depth of what I'm doing, and I'm going to run through the entire make from start to finish and you can follow along with me. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end where I will give you guys a reminder of my discount code, which will give you 20% I think, or some kind of discount off of all the products that I've mentioned today if you want to add those to your basket and check out on the Sizzix website, okay? So yeah, so if you want to see how I did this card, then stay tuned. I'm going to switch over to my overhead camera and we'll get started. Okay guys, to start off you're going to want a piece of A4 plain white cardstock, and I've just folded that in half, and this is going to be the base of our card, okay? And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some patterned cardstock. So this is our Sizzix patterned cardstock pack. I hope you can see a few of the patterns there, but as I just give a quick flick through, you can hopefully see that they're all double-sided and they're in a range of colours that match our colour story. So there's pretty much every colour that you could want, and you get every pattern of pretty much every colour back to back, okay? So obviously I'm going for a Valentine's theme, so I'm going for like pinks and reds, so I can use any of the kind of pinky red tones, and you can just pick and choose whichever pattern or colour suits you the best. But there is a really gorgeous heart patterned card in that pattern paper cardstock pack. So what I've done is I have die cut a heart. This is using our heart framelits die set, and I have taken one that kind of fills the top part of the card, and I've die cut that from the pattern paper. And then I'm just going to take our Sizzix adhesive roller, and you can see obviously it's got a pattern on the back as well, which is super handy, and means that you can just kind of pick and choose the patterns that you want. Now try and concentrate most of your adhesive around the edges, because this is going to be the main part that kind of gets left behind on your card. Ooh, there we go. And then you can just place that down. I'm just going to add a little bit more to this section here. There you go. And I'm going to place that down kind of centre of the card, but kind of to the top section, because I'm going to leave this bottom space free. Okay, so I'm going to stick that there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut into this again because I want an aperture. So I'm going to take the slightly smaller heart from the framelits, the heart framelit set, and I'm going to use some maker's tape, and I'm just going to place that over it just to keep it in place where I want it, okay? And this just means that the die isn't going to move when I roll it through the machine. So we want to die cut this. Obviously we want to die cut this, but we don't want to die cut the back, okay? We only want to die cut this front piece of cardstock. So if you've got an A4 size machine, doesn't matter, you can fit that completely flat through your machine and it works perfectly. If you have a slightly smaller machine, so sizing that is the size of these plates, which goes through our big shot fold away, things like that, I'm going to show you a bit of a trick to do this on that size machine, it is going to leave a little bit of an indent on your back cardstock though. So ideally you want an A4 machine, but this is just a way of doing it. So you can do it on a smaller machine if that's all you have, okay? So what you want to do is you want to place your plate down and then your cardstock, leaving this bit out, and then we're going to back fold this card because this is going to sit on top because the die is actually going to cut just the underneath and it's not going to cut the top. It does mean that this is a little bit not as neat if you did it on an A4 machine, but it does work. So, and then we're going to place our plate over the top. I've just got the glittery plates, but you'll probably have your clear ones, which is fine. And then I'm going to roll that through the machine. So if I just bring in my machine, I've just got my Big Shop fold away here. And I'm going to roll that through. And here it has cut. Oh, sorry, I'm knocking my tripod. And then if I take that away, you are left with, so this is going to be your back. So it does leave an indent, but you could cover this with a separate piece of card if you wanted to, or you could make a bit of a thing of it and put like made by yourself, your name on the back of the card, which is really nice. So we're going to just fold that back to where it was in the first place and then just take off our tape. And you have your aperture. So it's cut through the top layer of your card, but not the underneath layer, which is exactly what we wanted. Okay, so now we can start to work on what's going underneath the aperture. So what I've got is a piece of red cardstock. You could use pink, whatever you wanted to, and that's going to go underneath. Okay, and then we can start to build on top of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place some foam tape around that heart, like so. Doesn't have to be exactly perfect, just enough so the cardstock underneath, so this red piece of cardstock is slightly at a different level, I guess. Oh, peeling off the foam tape layer is always a pain for me. There we go. And then I can stick this like so. And then you have that section, but it's not fully flat. You've got a little bit of dimension there, okay? And then we can start to work in this heart and along the bottom. So the die that I am going to use today is the Mini Love Hearts die. So this is a chapter 4 die. I just wanted to use a chapter 4 die just because I thought you guys have got more chance of having your hands on it already if you're making a last minute Valentine's Day card or something like that. And this one's a really, really cute one. So you have a mixture of little lovebirds, you have a sentiment in there, you have this gorgeous floral heart, and you also have a couple of circles that you could have used instead of the heart if you prefer. Okay, so that's totally an option if this is the only die that you've got. This is a Mini Love Hearts die, and what I'm going to use is this main heart section, and I've actually pre-cut this already from like a dark red. So this is going to sit inside. Now it's a little bit too big, but I quite like that it kind of goes underneath, so it kind of suggests that the pattern continues underneath. And when I die cut this, I added some of our Sizzix adhesive sheets onto the back. As you can see, there is a white layer, so there wouldn't normally be a white layer. And that means that you just pop your adhesive sheet on your cardstock before you die cut it. And it means that I can then peel this bit off once it's die cut. And it means that I don't have to use any glue. It's already sticky, okay? Just be careful when you're peeling it off. Obviously, something like this is quite fragile, so just take your time. And then we can just place that down and it will stick where we kind of press it without any glue, which is really handy because this could be quite messy, I think, if you were to use a glue. Not to say that it can't be done or it's impossible, it just requires a lot more patience, which I don't like to take my time on stuff like that in lives just because it takes up too much time. But there you go. So you've got your gorgeous floral heart, and then we can start to add little elements inside of it. So I'm going to use the little lovebird. So there's a couple of lovebirds on there on the die set, but I'm going to use the two that are kind of facing each other and look like they're giving each other a little kiss, which is so cute. And then I've cut these from some rose gold opulent cardstock. So this is Sizzix rose gold opulent cardstock. I believe this is the mirror effect cardstock, and I'm just going to place those in the center and have them just touching, and you can move them about if you don't press too hard, just like so. Oh. So I've used foam tape again just because I wanted these slightly raised, but you could stick these flat if you wanted to. And then last but not least, inside the heart, I'm going to take some of the little hearts that are also part of the die set, and I've cut these from the rose gold pearl cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on the back of my hand. Again, you could attach adhesive sheet to these to make it a little bit less messy, but I wasn't that clever when I cut these out, so glue does work, and you can just pick them up like your tweezers like that and just dab them in the glue, and just if you've got too much glue, just dab off the excess. That's why I like putting glue on the back of my hand. Not that I recommend it, because it's probably not good for you. Okay, and then there you go. So that's all I'm going to do to the inside of the heart. Now we want to add something down to the bottom. So obviously I'm going to go for some kind of sentiment. So there is that love sentiment already in the set, so I'm going to use that. But I'm going to prep my background first. So I've got some of the rose gold mirror cardstock. Again, using my foam tape on the back. I always use a mixture of adhesives for whatever task I need, whether it's foam tape, adhesive roller or glue. And it just means that you can be a little bit more flexible with what you want. Actually, I'm just going to peel that off. Ooh. And just make sure it's exactly where I want it to go. So roughly about there. And then I've got some more of the pattern paper in a slightly different shade. And just peel that off again. Okay, and then last but not least, I've got the pearl cardstock, which we use for those tiny little hearts. So I'm just going to use my adhesive roller and just pop that along the base. Okay, so we've got a section here that is going to be perfect to add our sentiments. So what I've done is I've cut the love sentiment out 3 times from 2 different kinds of cardstock, so the 2 different kind of red coloured that we've got up here. And I've popped adhesive sheet on the back because it's quite a delicate piece, and I'm just going to pop love, 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 I think, along the bottom of here. So I'm going to do my darker red and then my lighter red and then my darker red. If you wanted to handwrite something here, you could definitely do that. If you wanted to print something off, if you wanted to write your and your partner's names, anything like that, a date to commemorate a certain occasion, that would also work as well. And you can kind of move these about if you just don't press too hard to begin with, and then just move them about until you're fully happy with the positioning. Okay, last but not least, I wanted to add some sequins. So I've just got I think these ones are the primrose I'm just going to check that they are, yeah, the primrose sequins and beads. So I'm going to take the heart-shaped ones, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue these around that heart up here. So again, I'm just going to place a little bit of glue on the back of my hand and just dab these in the glue and just place them just to fill some of this empty space. So just kind of play around with where you want them. And you could use the bigger ones and the little ones as well. And any of the pink, like the cherry blossom or anything like that of the sequin packs would work with this. They've all got a version of these hearts in them. They'd just be a slightly different colour variation. So just whatever you've got to handy in this kind of colour scheme, I think would work just fine. I'm going to take some of the glue off there. Yeah. And then these tiny little ones, I'm just going to try and add some of those in as well. Oh. Tweezers are your best friend for these kind of jobs. I'm sure you're already aware, but I use our fine tip tweezers, and I just pick them up that way because otherwise it takes me forever to fiddle with them with my fingers. And obviously depending on who your card is for, so whether it is for a partner and a loved one, or if it's you're celebrating Galentine's Day, anything like that, you can totally change up the colour scheme, or you could change up the sentiment along the bottom, like I said before, and just have fun customising it. You could even pop an image behind the heart of you and your partner, which I think would be adorable. So that's definitely an option as well. So there's loads of different options that you could do to customise and personalise a card like this. And honestly, you've pretty much seen me make it from start to finish, other than, ooh, I've covered that one in glue somehow. There we go, I'll get another one. Other than some of the die cutting, which will not take you too long at all. It's a really simple card to achieve. Honestly, sticking down these sequins is probably the most time consuming bit. And you can just carry on and just add as many or as few as you want. I could keep going forever and just adding where I want them to be. I think I would add just a couple more just to finish it off, but that is the idea of this gorgeous, simple but effective Valentine's Day card. Like I said, there's so many customizable options, but it's super simple, super easy to make, but I think really packs a punch with that aperture and all the different levels with the foam tape and the added finishing touch with the rose gold card and the sequins at the end. And there we go, guys. I'm just going to pop back up to my forward facing camera and we'll say goodbye. And there we have it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed following along and making this gorgeous Valentine's Day card. Whether you're making it for your partner or even for a friend, maybe it's Galentine's you're celebrating rather than Valentine's this year. I just think this would be a really, really nice way to gift something special to someone special, whoever that may be. And I think you can have a lot of fun playing with that aperture of the heart and using the different pattern papers and displaying all your sequins around the edges. For this one, I did just trim off the bottom and the top to make it slightly smaller than an A5 front card, but it would still fit in an A5 envelope. So just bear that in mind. If you're gifting it and you're sending it on, just make sure it fits in an A5 envelope and you should be all good. but I think there's so much fun to be had with this one, and you can customise it and change up the colours. If you're not a red and pink person, you don't want to go the traditional Valentine's Day route, then there are definitely loads of options to change up the colours if you want to. And you could make this all year round as well, by changing up the colours and just having it for a special occasion and changing up the sentiment down the bottom, and you can make that personalised as well. So if you want to get your hands on anything that I use today, whether it is the pattern paper, the sequins, or the Lovebirds die, definitely head on over to the Sizzix website. And if you get your hands on any of the things that I use that discount code Jess20, and that will give you some money off on everything that you check out from what I've used today. So if you pop those in your basket and use that discount code, you will get a little discount off of those items, which is a really nice special treat. So I hope you enjoyed following along and you're all ready for Valentine's Day now, and you can get your cards made and you can get crafting ready for the 14th. But thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, stay safe and keep crafting. Thanks, bye.